Today on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Welcome, Reed. Great to have you. And welcome to the studio.
No, this is my first time in studio. Thanks, Mike.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. It's great to have you
here with
here.
these two, which I'm between them, which makes me
Yeah, you have a Rob and Oscar sandwich.
Between two
right
ferns.
Is that what we're calling it?
Yes.
Really? Is that what we're going with? Okay.
Mike will tell you to leave or tell you to go stand over there.
That's yeah. He made me pull like 3 times and then like kicked me to the curb because I didn't win anything.
This is awful. I actually kicked him.
Yeah.
Granny panties. Big old round up, twisted up granny panties. Yeah.
A copperhead?
Big stained granny panties.
All that and more. The Mike O'Mara Show starts now. Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment. You can listen to the Mike O'Mara Show at MikeO'MaraShow.com.
Let's get started.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show with Mike O'Mara, Oscar Santana, and Rob Spiewak. Now, here's Mike.
Welcome to the Mike O'Mara Show from all over the fruited plain. Mount Vernon, Ohio, Fort Smith, Arkansas, Mandan, North Dakota. Sorry about that. Batumi, Georgia, Bay City, Michigan, and Nairobi, Kenya. The Mike O'Mara Show is on the air now. We are lucky again to be joined by a good friend of the show and a guy that doesn't have to do this, but he's super generous with his time with us. And when he's in town, we try to grab him. And Oscar, I appreciate you doing that. From the Lincoln Project, Reed Galen, who's in town to do his work for the project. And, of course, the State of the Onion tonight to see what the deal is. Lots going on in the world. And the thing I wanted to, first of all, welcome, Reed. Great to have you. And welcome to the studio.
No, this is my first time in studio. Thanks, Mike.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. It's great to have you
here with
here.
these two, which I'm between them, which makes me
Yeah, you have a Rob and Oscar sandwich.
Between two
right
ferns.
Is that what we're calling
Yes.
it? Really? Is that what we're going with? Okay. I'll take
I
it.
love that show. I do love that show. So this is not State of the Union, but it's related in a way because one of the stories jumping out at me today that I wanted to ask you about, and we may have talked about it before, is the polling that suggests that the United States of America, Democrats and Republicans, not really thrilled about a rematch. The polling, both in the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, not really excited about either Donald Trump or Joe Biden. And, we pay attention to stuff like that on this show. And I know that's your world as well, the world of politics. So that's the way people feel. I'm a Democrat. I feel that way about Biden. And a lot of my Republican friends feel that way about Donald Trump. So where does that leave us?
Well, you're a proud New Englander, Mike. So I think, as you know, it's every American's God-given right to be as fickle and as unhappy with their choices as they possibly can be.
Amen.
And this is not really any different than that.
Yes.
I mean, we're a country of 330 million people all looking over the fence saying the grass is greener too often.
Yeah. This is true.
You're not going to get any argument from me on the Trump end of things, certainly. And we could talk about that. I do think he'll win his primary, such as it is. But I think for President Biden, look, he is a man who has met his moment several times. He was there ready when the Democratic Party collapsed behind him in 2020 to beat Trump. He was there again when Russia invaded Ukraine almost a year ago. He's been there, I think, legislatively and politically for the country and has provided, look, as you know, politics in the presidency is a tough business. It doesn't get easier. It only gets more complicated and more complex. And this is a guy who has put his hand on the tiller and guided us through a lot of rocky waters. And so what I would say to our Democratic friends is once in a while, just be happy with someone who's successful. I know that's really hard for Democrats because, you want, Democrats fall in love and Republicans fall in line. That really is true.
I think it's the truest thing I've ever heard in politics.
I've spent more time around Democrats in my life in the last 3 years than I ever have. And sometimes I'm just like, please, y'all be happy with what you have. Right? I mean, I'm not sure what else it is you can ask for. I mean, the man's working his off for everybody. But it's not surprising. Right. And look, we should not deny that, they are, 80 and I think Trump's 76, or by the time he'd be running in 24, he'd be 78.
But looking better than ever.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's sort of like there's a solution I think they keep him in, like that thing they put Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back. They stick him in that stuff every night.
I thought it was more like the stuff that they keep Combs in a barber shop.
Yeah, right. Well, that's very true. Yeah, but it's orange instead of blue.
Okay.
Wow.
So-
I feel so guilty after that lecture. I feel so totally guilty about my
Spot
feelings.
on, though. Spot
Because,
on.
you're going to, because the same thing about Democrats and being a Democrat, you'd ask me or any other Democrat, well, who do you want? Well, I don't know. I just
That's
don't like
also
the
right.
guy we have.
That's
Because
also
there really is, I cannot, and it's been a long time since I've been able to say that, I cannot pick anybody right now that I think would be the logical successor. And I should point out that way back when she came out with her wonderful opening address, I was a Kamala person. I'm not anymore. I didn't like the way she ran the campaign, and that's where I am. And so when you Gavin Newsom, a slicky boy, in my humble opinion. That's the way I look at him. So maybe you're right.
Well, and also remember that Joe Biden is the president of the United States. He sits behind the Resolute desk every day. No one's going to tell him he can't run for president. Actually, there's only one person. There's 8 billion people on the planet. There's only one person who can tell him not to run for president, and that's Dr. Biden.
Dr. Jill.
And my guess is that she's not going to tell him that either, because I think, we've gotten so sort of inured to it, Mike, but I think they are people who actually care about their jobs every day, which is also something different, right, than what we've been used to.
I think in terms of one of the great exercises the media has done for decades now is showing an individual when they get to the White House, when they start the job, and then at the end of the job. So the idea, that's always in my mind. And so I say the fortitude of an individual taking on that responsibility at that age is stunning. And I think that outside, I don't disagree with anything you've said, but at the same time, I just say the basic numbers that we're talking about. And one thing I know a little bit about age, because I'm the oldest one on this show, and I've grown. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate that. And I've been around old people all my life. Since I was a little kid, I've been around old people. And one thing I can tell you, most recently, my mom, is that the decline when it happens is rapid. For aging, for failing, and really sometimes it amazed me when my mom was 80. How she was rocking and rolling. And so maybe I am being a little ageist by suggesting this, but yeah, you're right. I don't have any options. I don't have any people out there that I'm running to right now, as opposed to the Republican Party, Reed, where they've got our dictator in chief down here in my wonderful state of Florida. Right. And by the way, really looking forward to the legislature passing that open carry ban. Not an open carry, a without permit concealed carry. What could possibly go wrong?
I mean, Mike, your legislative session, and I know more about the Florida legislative session only because of Ron DeSantis. I would never have anything other to do with it. Is going to be singular in its awfulness, I think. It's going to be. Wow. He's going to take every last thing he can find from every ultra MAGA goon that comes his way, and they're going to push it through, because remember that if you're going to beat a Donald Trump in a Republican primary where, let's say 55-60% of the voting of the electorate, right, the actual people who make up voting Republicans, believe in the stuff that Trump believes in, then you got to be Trumpier than him. The problem for DeSantis and a lot of these, well, for DeSantis, he's just not that good a politician. Right.
Everybody says that. I think you've said that before, that he doesn't have the political athleticism that he needs.
I mean, you got to go up on a stage, I mean, it's one thing, Mike, to, make these little oblique comments about how, we need a new direction and, we lost all this stuff. It's another thing to look the face-eating monster square in the eye and say, let's go. Right. Yeah. And let me just say this too. I mean, Mike, it's not just for DeSantis, but Nikki Haley, who's about to announce, or Mike Pompeo, that goon who's, I think, going to announce, or Mike Pence, who, frankly, from my perspective, is the only one that has a legitimate reason to take Trump on because he tried to kill the guy. Right. Or any of them is, there's nothing like running for president for an individual. There's just nothing like it. It is all consuming from the moment that you wake up in the morning until the time you go to bed, when you've been at it 16, 17, 18 hours a day in the wilds of Iowa. And as you know, folks in New Hampshire, right? If you're Ron DeSantis and you think you're really cool in the state of Florida, there's no one in New Hampshire who thinks you're that cool. Right, you've got to go to all 8,000 towns, right, and meet with every guy in an old fishing cap. Who was the old fisherman that you used to do, right? Like all of those.
Dick Queasy.
Dick Queasy. Yeah. Like New Hampshire is full of Dick Queasy.
Hello, Mr. DeSantis. Welcome. How are you? Good to see you.
But they like want to get the size of you, right? And DeSantis is a guy who I don't think thinks he needs to do that. And that's where like people in Iowa who are salt of the earth, and New Hampshire who are even saltier, if it were, right, take their measure of people. And that's what it is. It's a gauntlet, unlike anything politically humanity's ever created. And DeSantis is one where, Mike, this is how far like the window is moved. There are otherwise normal Republicans I know, and there's very few of them, admittedly, who think DeSantis is like, okay, he's normal. And we've been saying this since before the 20 election. They ran him through the car wash, right? And just, made him sort of a little bit shinier. But the truth is he's going so wacky now that let's say he beat Trump in a primary. Now you got to contend with the fact that like you went all the way into the MAGA swimming pool. Like once you get in there, it covers you, right? It doesn't let you go. So, and they will demand that he stay in that place, right? This is what happens when you make a deal with the devil.
And will he, if he chooses to take on the monster, as you call him, the face-eating monster that I love, you think he's gonna be chewed up and spit out by Donald Trump? You think it's going to be a slam dunk?
So I don't think there's anything as such as a slam dunk, but I would say this is not, first of all, this is not a two-man race, right? And this is not a two-dimensional or one-dimensional contest. There will be 6, 7, people in the race, maybe 10 or 12, whatever. But they'll all do whatever they think it is necessary to do one of two things. Either make sure DeSantis isn't the nominee so that they can be, or make sure that DeSantis isn't the nominee so Trump decides, okay, maybe I want you to be my vice presidential nominee, or maybe if you win, I get to be Secretary of State or whatever. So it's a multi-dimensional game where people are all going to go after, I would think, DeSantis if and when he gets in. The other part, too, is that you see now, I mean, when I went to work for John McCain, it was January 3rd, 2007, right? A full year ahead of the Iowa caucuses. We're now a month past that, and a lot of these campaigns, I mean, Mike, think about this. It's like being inside the 20-yard line, right? Time and space is compressing, and they're all desperate to get in. Right. But they have to get their team in place. They have to get their financing in place. Once a campaign from dog catcher to president starts running the cash register, it never stops. Right. So like, how much money can you raise? How many big donors can you bring in? How many small dollar donors can you get? Right. How many people do you need? Because, I have to have, I got to pay off this one guy in Iowa because he's the guy that controls Sioux City or whatever. Right. Like all of these things start to come into play. And that's before you even like step onto the stage and tell people why you should be leader of the free world. But here's one thing I can tell you. None of these people who are, quote unquote, running against him will say the words Donald Trump when they announce their candidacies.
And is the delay that you're talking about where they're behind the curve already, actually, which is amazing to believe, but it's true, is the hesitancy, I want another guy to go first? Is that what it is?
I think that's
I want Nikki Haley saying, let's let the old DeSantis down in Florida go before I make my announcement, because they're they know they're going to be a target as soon as they do that. I
think that's probably a lot of it. Yeah. I mean, look, the truth is that if they were patient, right, if they were playing the game that we're in, not the one they're used to, because I mean, remember, these are all conventional politicians, right? Trump is the outlier, as he always is, but he's changed the game to suit him. Right. And others haven't figured that out, which is they all need these big campaigns. They all need all this other stuff. Trump needs himself, an airplane, and a place to have a rally.
Yeah.
Right?
A field.
A field. Right. He doesn't need all the trappings. I mean, because he is the campaign.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like, you go and you see a campaign office and, it's usually in an office building somewhere and there's 80, 20 somethings, and they're all working hard, and every one of them has their job, right? And then you go up the ladder about, okay, who's going to do this, who's going to do that, who's going to do this. Trump has a couple of those people, right? But they're setting more like electoral strategy, what kind of voters we need. Trump's going to go out and do whatever he's going to do, right? And you can't control him anyway. Whereas the rest of these people is like, oh my God, Governor Haley misspoke about something. Now we've got to go fix that. Like, Trump doesn't care. He doesn't care about any of that, right?
Advantage, right?
No,
Big
like, I mean, you
advantage.
saw Larry Hogan from Maryland, right, who got asked, he solely vaporized his reason for being in a Republican primary, where they said, you know, why are you going to do this? Why are you going to do this? We need to move on. We need to move on. Well, would you vote for Donald Trump if he's the nominee? Oh, yeah. Okay, well then, like, why are you running? Right?
Wow.
And so then they tried to
They're
walk it
afraid
back.
to say no.
But
They're afraid to say they
exactly
wouldn't.
right, Mike. But then they spent the next 2 days trying to say he didn't really mean that. But too late. Right?
But yes, he meant no.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Because that's an immediate, fear response when you get when you
That's
say
right.
that. Yeah, yes, I would.
That's
yes,
exactly.
I would
Mike,
if
but
he was
Mike,
the
you
nominee.
hit the nail on the head. It's all
Right.
about fear.
It's fear.
Yeah.
It's fear. That's what it all is. It's and it's kind of fun to watch at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, and listen, we will be. There's that old Peter Gabriel song, like Enrico starts a bonfire and Adolf plays with it, or whatever it is, right? Games Without Frontiers. Like, we will be the people playing with the bonfire of the Republican primary.
I know, and the only thing that's at stake is the future of the country. So that's always
That's
fun.
all.
Oh God, if I think about it too much, I get scared. Now, real quick, and we said we'd keep you for 50. We always run over with you, but I just want to ask this: you're in town. It is the State of the Union tonight. I know. I don't have any expectations. I
know this,
really-
Mike. I got an
Yes.
email this morning from Joe Biden.
Yes.
And he said
He wrote that himself.
Yeah, I know. He's very optimistic.
Right.
So
That's good.
we should
That's
tune
exciting.
in. That's what I got. Yeah.
I don't think there's any news that's going to come out of this, right? It's just him getting up there and hopefully nobody really misbehaving. Any chance of misbehavior with the new Republican Congress?
Yes.
Anybody that's going to heckle? Do you think?
I would say so. Yeah.
Will there be a slap?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Oscar. I interrupted you.
Read,
Keep Joe Biden's name out your mouth.
That's right.
Reed, do you two things? I just want to get your take on George Santos and what's going on at the Lincoln Project and, of course, the podcast.
Yeah, the Lincoln Project. I want to hear about
Yes,
it.
please.
Well, George Santos he's the perfect, I don't even know what the word is for the Republican Party. He's lied about everything. Mascot, fine.
Okay.
Stand-in, doppelganger, I don't know, right? But he's everything that the party has become. And the truth is that, Kevin McCarthy, who's the Speaker of the House, is now looking at this like, is he the worst one I got? I mean, truly. He's lied about everything.
Yeah.
Right. He is a pathological liar. He just got one of his brand new staffers just accused him of sexual harassment. Right. So like,
Yeah, that's
still,
this week.
Right. He's not the Camp Auschwitz guy. Right. So think about first of all where the Republican Party is now, but think about the kinds of things that McCarthy's like. Okay, Santos is a goon. He's lied about everything. He's likely to lose his re-election campaign 2 years from now. But I only got 9 seats, and I need all of them. And now McCarthy doesn't believe in anything anyway. So like he's like let the press chase him around. He's a great distraction, right? Let them chase the rabbit down the street while I'm over here with the true MAGAs doing the craziness. And then on the Lincoln Project front, look, I think that we see this as sort of we always say that this is the most important election of our lives, and it keeps happening. Right. And I wish it weren't. But I think 24 is going to be that for this country. So for us, 2023 is all about preparation, building out the infrastructure, making sure that the American people and specifically Democratic, Independent, and then those sort of Republican voters who have left the party but don't know where to go have an understanding like they're all the same. Right. I hate to say that. I wish that I didn't have to paint Republican politicians with a broad brush. But if you're still there, this is who you are, right? You're not Liz Cheney, right? You're not Adam Kinzinger. You're not the people who put everything on the line, both politically and personally in a lot of ways, right? I mean, I know Adam had to move, right? Because his house had been swatted and doxxed so many times, right? And you saw that the 10 Republicans who voted against or voted for Trump's impeachment, only one of them's left. most of them have gone either because they lost or because they're like, I don't want death threats anymore.
I don't want to deal with it.
So yeah, I don't want to deal with it. So the party has moved in that direction. So we want to make sure everybody knows what they're getting. DeSantis is a perfect example. I mean, the idea, and let me just go back to him for a second, Mike. I mean, so he says, we're going to take African American studies, or we're going to water down AP African American studies, right? And then the College Board, who creates all this stuff, goes along with it. Like, appeasement never works. It never works. And I don't know, remember that scene, Mike, in Moonstruck with Cher and Nicolas Cage, where she slaps him and says, snap out of it? Mm-hmm. Like, we're sitting in the heart of the Beltway right now. Like, if I could walk around to everybody who needs it and go, snap out of it, I would. But there's this bias towards normalcy that they just can't break out of. I just can't imagine they're that crazy. I just can't imagine they're going to do this. I just can't imagine they'll Thelma and Louise the country, on the debt ceiling. I can't believe they'd be this. I can't believe that. They're really not going to go with Trump again, are they? I mean, he sits down with Kanye West and Nick Fuentes, the anti-Semite. Like, yes, because you're not the party anymore, right?
But Reed, do you think it's winning? I think it's winning. I think even though he has lost, he lost the last presidential election, and we have not been. The Republican Party was not nearly as successful as they anticipated in the congressional races. They still have that feeling that he is the all-powerful Oz, that he is, and that's why they latch on to it, because winning is so damn important to people in the Republican Party. That's what I can think of. No other plausible reason. I mean, it was just such an overwhelming upset victory that nobody saw coming, and it gave them such a feeling of joy that they want to hold on to that. Well, at least that's my theory.
But they haven't won since then. Really.
They haven't. No, they haven't.
And you can ascribe a lot of that to him, and ascribe a lot of the ideology that he sort of brought to the surface. I mean, these people were zombies in the woods, right? A lot of these folks, a lot of these beliefs were things that were unacceptable socially. Right, unacceptable politically. He brought
the good old days,
right? The good old days. Look, I mean, the difference is you used to use a dog whistle, and now people use a bullhorn. I think it really did give a lot of Americans, and I would say this: it's probably our cohort most, the Generation X cohort, male Generation X cohort, educated, successful people, who listen. We grew up in a unique time, but also it gave people a chance to channel their inner a-hole and get away with it.
Yeah.
Right.
And
so FU might as well be the platform of the party. Right. I mean, that's really all they care about. And I would say lastly, Mike, and again, thanks for having me on, is that, it is a close run thing. We are a 50-50 country. I think that there are more of us, whether or not that's Democrats or people in the pro-democracy movement, than there are of them.
I agree.
But it doesn't matter if we don't show up and we don't do the work. And so that's what we do all day, every day. And certainly thank you guys, as always, for the time. And
Oscar, give the man his plugs right now before we have to say goodbye. Okay?
Any platform, whether it's Spotify, it's Apple Podcasts, it's Stitcher, I don't care what you're using. Just type in Lincoln Project. It's the podcast. It's right there.
And may I give a shout out, Mike, to Mike O'Mara Nation, because on my TikTok account, the Mike O'Mara audience sent me from 5,000 followers to 8,000 followers, which is not that much. I know.
Yeah, we live in that world.
Strong.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I just want to say thanks to everybody out there. You guys are
Reed
incredible.
Galen on TikTok.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's
across
Reed Galen.
the board.
We'll come back. We're going to take a break right now. We will come back. I've got a TV reco, actually a personality recommendation that I want to sing the praises of that I haven't before. We'll come back with that and more fun. You, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Reed Galen, are listening to the Mike O'Mara Show. We'll be right back after this.
After 23 weeks, it all comes down to this. Two teams meeting for one of the biggest titles in professional sports. And you have inside knowledge.
You can't get to the big game without going through Diamond Town.
Hop aboard the Mike O'Mara Show this Thursday as the prognosticator of Pahrump makes his picks for the big game.
Hop on the Nicky train, because we about to get paid, baby.
Nicky did all the work. All you have to do is listen.
Bank on it, baby.
It's a superb Owl exclusive. This Thursday, only on the Mike O'Mara Show.
In the No, baby.
I love it. I love it. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. Think of time. Think of money. Think of your family. Think of the time invested on family vacations, football games, birthdays, weddings. All of the weddings. Rob put that in my commercial. Recording these memories was a commitment. Camcorders cost thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
In the day they did, yes.
Tapes were expensive. Cameras required film and development. Legacy Box exists to preserve your family's recorded moments digitally, ensuring that they are safe forever. I remember buying a top-of-the-line video camera. I really do remember this back in the day.
I do too, yeah.
I remember when my daughter Catherine was born, and I was taking a picture, shooting a video of the doctors scrubbing up before the delivery, and my hand was shaking. But, videotape, obsolete. I wasn't sure if I could ever watch those tapes again, but I can, thanks to Legacy Box. I can watch my little girls when they were actually little girls.
I know.
Magic. We've all used Legacy Box. We all love it. Legacy Box is a super simple mail-in service to have all of your videotapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and pictures converted to perfectly preserved digital files, keeping them safe forever. You owe it to your family to safeguard your memories. Don't let your photos continue to fade. Become your family's hero and save them before it's too late. Buy a Legacy Box today. Visit legacybox.com/TMOS to take advantage of this exclusive offer. That's legacybox.com/TMOS. I always think about Reed. It's like having a wonderful teacher on when he's here, because I'm laughing to myself, the inner a-hole that was in people that came to the surface, and I've always thought of it that way. And it's nice to hear a guy with those kind of credentials back it up. Now, I'll get off the political thing, but this isn't political as much as a television show and comedy. Okay,
yeah, you teased it well. I'm curious what you have
Comedy
to say.
Central. Hear me loudly, hear me clearly. This is an individual I have never raved about before. This is an individual who I think is funny. This is an individual that I think in her own way is kind of a sex symbol as well. But I have to tell you, do not walk Comedy Central and sign up Chelsea Handler for The Daily Show, and do it now. There has never been a more perfect fit for a personality and a television show. Please.
You're not alone.
Yeah, you're right.
Not alone.
Please get that. I mean, one show. And, with no offense to the Trevor Noah, who's going on to greener pastures, Trevor Noah's replacement, they're talking about a lot of different people. They're going to bring in some guest hosts. Oscar, I have to tell you, this woman, this is her calling. No one was more. She's better than Jon Stewart was with her snark in that show.
The take on Chelsea Handler, just so people know, right? Let's give a quick refresher. Okay. Outside the fact that she dated 50 Cent for some time, which was provocative for all of us. We don't know why.
Sure, it was.
I got a chance to meet her in person when she used to do the Scottsdale Phoenix circuit for the Tempe Improv when we were in Phoenix.
Sure.
And, likable, affable, a professional. I remember we called her out for being on her BlackBerry for the first half of our interview, and then she realized that we were funny and we like to break balls, and then she started breaking our balls, which is great. Which is what you love, right? Because you're not just some wacky morning zoo radio show, and you actually care about the guest being engaged, and that's how we hit it off. To see her progression, not just as a comedian, but also as a talk show host in her own right on E! To where she is now. It's watching someone's career mature at a level that you didn't expect. Because if you recall, Mike, for some time, her snark was directed towards the Britney Spearses of the world, right?
Yeah, when she did the Chelsea Handler show.
It didn't work. It's so
it worked.
Impassioned.
Go ahead. It worked for the time, for that time. And then it worked on Netflix because she was one of the first to get a Netflix deal.
Right.
So she's always been successful in her own right in this talk format. She's been away from it for so long that you forget how great she is. And I'll just let me just cap it with this. This morning, yesterday morning on CBS, this morning or whatever it's called, the CBS Morning Show.
Yes.
She was on, and she was there making jokes with Gale and the rest of the crew. And they were so quick and so fast that that morning show wasn't built for her. Like it was awkward because she knew she was
her timing's too
she
good.
was killing it, and they were like, oh well, we're going to talk. Like they didn't know how to handle it,
right?
Which was exciting for me because on the Daily Show, that's exactly what you need.
Exactly.
It's Oscar. I became so supercharged with this woman because you're so right when you talk. I'm so glad you mentioned timing because you realize that with Jon Stewart, it's timing because not only is it delivering the material, which, by the way, is in a prompter and you would think it's easy. It's not. It's not. It's much easier to do what I'm doing here off the cuff and do it. Her timing, and you're delivering these wonderfully written lines in your monologue. Mm-hmm. And I could not believe how natural and spectacular. It's a different deal when you're doing stand-up, and it's a different deal when you're hosting a regular talk show. She had a rhythm, and then she had rhythm with the cast members as well.
Yeah, the cast members.
And I didn't even get to the guests. I am doing this based on watching 15 to 20 minutes of Chelsea Handler and saying, I predict this right now. If you give her that gig, and that's going to elevate that show to even greater heights. And no offense to Trevor Noah.
No, it's not even about.
Let me tell you what I always thought about Trevor Noah. I know that Trevor Noah is funny. I know that Trevor Noah does some good stand-up, but I'm not sure I ever believed that Trevor Noah had his heart in it 100%. I believe it was a great gig for him with Chelsea Handler. The attitude comes first. The way she snarks comes first, and then she's got this gig.
Well,
I couldn't believe how good it was.
Her career leading up to this has almost been like boot camp, because if she can make jokes about, television personalities, when you hand her a political spectrum or current events, she's ready to go.
I had a friend.
She's so naturally funny.
Who ended up becoming a PA and then an associate producer on Chelsea Lately, which was the E! Show.
Yes.
And it was, you could tell when someone is actually invested in the show, but also they respect the work that's being done behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When someone's like, hey, we would go to Los Angeles, and she would say that she couldn't meet up with us because it wasn't a taping night, but it was something. It was like, we're still working on this next show. Well, so I love hearing that, because that means no need to be sorry. You're working at such a high level, and someone actually cares.
Yeah.
Right.
That this is it. This is why it's that good. And what I really liked about Chelsea Handler last night was she's got nothing to lose.
Yes.
She's doing absolutely nothing.
She wants the gig because she wants the gig.
And you feel that. You feel it through the television, which is hard to do, right? To create
it was
some sort
joyful.
of feeling. Yes.
It was a funny, joyful. And when you're delivering that material with a great deal of joy and fun, which is what Jon Stewart brought to the equation.
Yes.
Oh, I hope they do it. So that's my little message right now. She's on this week, and I think they bring in
they have a rotating cast. Yes,
Leslie Jones is going to be guest hosting as well.
I saw Leslie's week.
Different people.
She already did it. She's already done it. She was great as well.
All right, very good.
But Chelsea Handler, better host.
Yeah, and she wants the gig. At least she's kind of indicated that she wants the gig. So please, Comedy said, hire that girl. That lady.
Worldwide
hire that gal.
And into your digital device. It's what you need to know. This is the homepage.
This is the homepage, and BuzzFeed has a new poll where they tossed out the names of 50 celebrities and asked people if they have a positive or negative opinion of them at the moment. I guess you would say I have a positive opinion of Chelsea Handler.
Yeah, it seems
some of the most highly regarded celebrities are not surprising. Here are the highlights. Number 1, Danny DeVito and Keanu Reeves. Kind of a weird combo there, but there it is. 96% positive opinions of that.
That seems high for DeVito.
No.
Then
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's America's favorite con man.
Yeah, but he treated Rhea very badly.
Who's Rhea?
Rhea Perlman.
Who knows that?
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think they've busted up, and I think he was the villain in the divorce. I think.
Well, take that to
Really?
your book club. They're not voting.
All right.
I didn't know that. Dolly Parton, number
Book
2.
club.
Ryan Reynolds,
Nah,
Blake
like an old lady thing
Lively,
to say.
Chris Evans, and George Clooney. They both got 90%. Tom Hanks and Lady Gaga.
Okay.
They got 89%. Adam Sandler, Nicole Kidman, Miley Cyrus with Taylor Swift, and Harry Styles and Martha Stewart with 74% positive.
I can see
which
that.
I think's funny.
Do they? They don't take into account that Tom Hanks a big fat phony though.
You're just feeling very yes. Danny DeVito's on the list, and so is Tom Hanks. Rob,
Well, you know what? I like Danny DeVito. I was just surprised he was there. Now Tom Hanks, we could talk about.
Yes,
big
Tom
fat
Hanks.
phony.
A big conspiracy. You've always said that.
Yes.
We understand. That's the way it works. On the flip side of things, at number 5, least popular. Let's see. James Corden,
Yes!
78% negative.
Thank
I'm
God.
back in. I'm back on the list.
Kylie Jenner, Kim Kardashian, and Kris Jenner. Kylie at 82%, and Kim and Kris were 75% negative. Ellen DeGeneres and Adam Levine both got 90% negative.
Levine, that surprises
He's
me.
on Call Her Daddy this week. He addresses the infidelity rumors.
Oh, I forgot about the rumors. Yes.
Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, 91% negative. And
No shock.
at the top of the list, Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook, 94% have negative opinions of him.
Mike,
So
where
there
is
it
on either list? Where is Pete Rose?
Yeah, Rob tries to work in Pete Rose. Is it on a weekly basis? You try to get
Is he?
in there?
He's still out of the Hall of Fame, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I see. You know what I say? I say it's time to forgive Pete Rose.
I mean,
Forgive Pete.
gambling is legal.
Gambling.
All right. Listen, we all know that there, at least in my neighborhood, there are theaters, movie theaters that are closing.
Yes.
We watch our movies at home now. People aren't going out to the cinema.
Do you know right now, Mike, one of the premier theaters in America, the Uptown Theater here in Washington, D.C., is dark. It's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
longer operational. It's scary.
People just don't go out to the movies. It's not a thing anymore.
Mazda
It's still
Gallery.
fun. I love it.
Do you remember
That's
Mazda
gone.
Gallery?
Yeah.
They're making it into condos.
Yeah. That's the way it rolls. So this
Big TVs, though.
I can't. I really
I'd live there.
wonder about the timing here. AMC is rolling out a new pricing system.
This
is so
This
stupid.
is so crummy. When you hear this, America, you
What
better
is
be
this?
upset.
Rob, it's called Sightline, where tickets will be priced differently based on where you're sitting.
At a movie theater?
It's like how concerts work, or sporting events, plays, even airlines.
That's no good.
It was probably inevitable. Not all the prices. Inevitable? I don't think it was inevitable.
No, it's quite inevitable.
Writers are the people that give me this material. Bad writers, dumb writers.
Bad writers. Mike, it was inevitable.
They should hire Chat GPT to write their comedy.
Not all the prices are changing. Standard Sightline seats will be the most common and will be available for the usual. It was inevitable. I'm sorry, rarely do I hang on something.
I know.
It was inevitable because theaters were closing all over the country and you
It's
wanted to
inevitable.
do something to
Mike,
piss people off more? Is that why it was inevitable? What the? Sometimes writing pisses me
Mike,
off.
there was no avoiding it. This is the ultimate end game.
Kids, get up half an hour earlier so that you can do better editing on your
Yes,
material.
please.
So those words don't come out of your mouth, okay? Anyway, value citing Sightline tickets will cost slightly less. That's for less popular seats.
Front row?
Like the front row and preferred Sightline seats will cost you slightly more. F you, AMC.
Can you imagine?
You know what? Eighth row on the aisle. What does that cost me? That's what I like.
No, a
Exactly.
byproduct of this, and I feel for you young bucks out there,
Youngsters.
that are taking your Philly out to dinner or maybe a movie, and then
Let's
you
go to Five Guys and Avatar.
So, but you grab the Avatar tickets.
Right.
She doesn't know that the best seats were already taken. She thinks you're cheap because you're closer to the screen.
Oh, that's true.
Exactly.
And then
Yeah,
you just
we're gonna-
say, I like these seats.
I
Can you
like
get the
throwing
small
up after.
fries, and let me let you know we're going to be sitting in the front row. But I got the tickets for $5.99.
I'm in the front row.
Thank you. I love Jennifer Coolidge. A lot of people do. She used to be a waitress at the beginning of her career. And as all waitresses know, there are always rude customers. So Jennifer used the worst interactions to her advantage. She wrote about them to perform as comedic skits at an improv theater in L.A. She talked about it while accepting the Woman of the Year award from the Hasty Pudding Theatricals last weekend. Her quote is, "It was life-changing to mock all the people who were so cruel and mean and play them on stage." I bet that was empowering.
Yeah.
You're getting crap from somebody and you're going to be able to use it. It's great. Here's her quote. You get it out of your system. You're like, I don't even care that they weren't nice. I got amazing characters out of people I worked for. And I feel like that's the most inspiring thing. My favorite characters were wretched people.
That's so great.
My God.
She's funny. She's just got it.
And
she's got a little quirk that's wonderful. I love
It's
her.
amazingly fun. Remember, we heard that Jay Thomas used to have to go out and do perfume samples in a department store when he was learning to act.
Yes.
Because it makes people interact with you and you learn about people. So that makes perfect sense
The
to me.
late Jay Thomas.
So great.
Also on Free FM.
That's right.
Free
Yeah,
FM
yeah.
for and that's Chicago, or as I like to refer to it, the uncrackable market for me. Kevin Costner might be leaving Yellowstone. There's a lot of stuff about him. He's got scheduling conflicts. He's busy directing and starring in a Western film called Horizon, and that could lead to the original Yellowstone coming to an end when season 5 wraps later this year. Now, when I think about Kevin Costner on Yellowstone, I mean, he collaborates with Taylor Sheridan, but Taylor Sheridan, the way everything I've read, and I've read an awful lot about this show that I love so bad, and Taylor Sheridan apparently is quite the dictator, and, he's the chief cook and bottle washer on that show. And I've always wondered, will Kevin Costner, going back to Dances with Wolves, he's used to being the chief cook and bottle
that's
washer.
true.
But who knows?
Two chiefs is better than one. And
this is true. Yeah.
Mike, Kevin Costner, I think for most people that don't know him from his work in the past, he's the modern day John Wayne without being racist.
Yeah.
He's our new Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that he's
Nicely
got
played.
Right?
Yes.
Look, he's got a lot going for him, and it doesn't just have to be Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And I think the Yellowstone plot lines can evolve as well. It's a TV show.
Do you think
All good
they'll
things
write
come to an
him
end.
a magnificent death?
He almost died a season ago.
Yeah, but I think it should
they
be
filled him full of lead.
But wouldn't it be great if they had something really outlandish happen to him?
It's all outlandish.
Like terrorists?
He had that last season.
There is talk of a possible spinoff with All Right.
Oh, I'd watch that.
Really?
With my pants
There
around
you
my
go.
ankles.
He's in today's audio vault today.
He was topless.
Yeah.
A spokesperson for
Red
Paramount
Pony?
says, we have
Soundtown.
no news to report. Kevin Costner is a big part of Yellowstone, and we hope that's the case for a long time to come. But we are always working. Here's their cover their ass mode.
Yeah.
We are always working on franchise expansions in this incredible world. Matthew McConaughey is a phenomenal talent, and we'd love to work with him.
Mike,
So
I actually
there it
see
is.
here what the
Why am I talking like Pony? I don't know why I'm doing that.
I saw what the spinoff with McConaughey is called. It's called Yellowstoned.
No.
Let's see how long it takes him to call back.
Thank you, Pony. Appreciate that. Moving right along. I don't know what's going on.
How's your day going so far?
Let me turn him up a little bit. What was that, Pony?
How's your day going so far?
Okay.
I'm kind of in a hurry.
I get it.
5
This is
o'clock.
Pony at the end of the day when they've got new technology they're excited about. Pony, did you see this?
I'm kind of in a hurry.
Casinos pretty much have set a formula for how much you need to spend before they consider you a high roller.
Baby.
And they won't tell you what it is.
Okay.
According to a professional gambler, he got gold status at the Cosmopolitan in Vegas. That's a shiny new one. After he played several hours at a $5 slot machine and then took his winnings and played at a $25 machine for a few more hours. Well, there's where. Bye-bye.
I was going to say, I guess you are a gold member.
$25 in a few hours. No, can't do that. Gold status got him free rooms, food, and drinks. He wound up spending about $66,000 on slots the rest of the year with a $2,200 profit. That got him to platinum status with limo rides, a VIP lounge at the casino, and free suites. Over the course of 7 years, he spent $811,000 total on slots and wound up with a net loss of just $34,000.
Mike, when you say free
But
suites,
hold on, Rob. He estimates he got $60,500 in free perks. So he comes out ahead by about 30 grand.
That's garbage. This is big casino.
Yeah,
trying to get people back at
sharing this because it's not true.
This is an anomaly, an outlier.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
spot on. Yes, Rob. What were you going to say?
Those free sweets, are those SWEETS like candy, or were they SUITS like rooms?
Depends on whether you win or not.
Here's a candy.
If you win, they're SW. So we.
I did see someone in real time on TikTok. There's a bunch of gambling people that just gamble on slots.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he was watching his father, who, by the way, they owned a biochemical company, so that's why they could do this, I imagine.
As one does.
His father was playing at a 25 slot. But the max was 5, right? It's usually 5 or 4 of what you play. Is it 4 or 5?
So what are you saying to me, that he was at a $25 slot machine?
And he's playing.
Well, usually
that's
a $75
okay,
bet.
Great.
That can be a $100 bet.
Okay, so
people
or
should know
$125 bet.
So
people should know it's $125 per pull. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm watching this, and I'm like, he just drilled through legit $5,000 plus.
Right. Yep.
And his dad, and he's like, "This is my dad. I don't know how he does this. This is wild." And everybody on TikTok is like, "What do you do?" Like, he's like, "We're in biochemicals, whatever. Who knows?" And then boom, he hits 90,300, like a payday, just right there.
And it keeps going.
Yeah, and it keeps going.
It keeps going. It's an addiction.
He keeps going.
Know anything about it?
No,
not that level. No. But I would know at a lower level that you just keep going.
You should call the biochemical company and say, I have an app on my iPad I could recommend to you to save you big money.
Look, the bottom line with that, it's the action.
But it's an addiction, right?
It's
a disease. It's addiction.
It's not the money. If it was the money, you'd stop.
You're as happy at a penny slot as you are at a $5 slot.
No, I've seen him at penny slots. He's grumpy because he fell off the $5 slots.
No, he likes
it. If I lose at the penny slot, you know, which you do. By the way, use just about as much as you. I don't want to get on this. All right, I was Mike, like, we've gotten it down to maybe once every 2 months.
You're good, Mike. This is Mike's move.
Is tight.
Mike will tell you to leave or tell you to go stand over there.
That's
he made me pull like 3 times and then like kicked me to the curb because I didn't win anything.
This is awful. I actually kicked him.
Yeah.
Remember just follow the cigarettes. You'll find him.
Almost in the high value slot.
He was on the fringes.
Close.
He was on the fringes.
Only after you said,
I could try resetting your account.
Okay, I didn't do that. I didn't want to do that.
That's pretty
good.
That made sense.
These are really working well today. All right, no kicker for this. This is just no funny line. I'm letting this lay there for all 3 of us.
Okay.
Here we go. A woman named Janelle shared an interesting tale on TikTok about her hubby, Josh, that goes like this. She says, we were in Puerto Rico, and as you know, I am breastfeeding, and I just forgot to pack my pump for whatever reason. Janelle said that pretty quickly she noticed that her breasts were starting to hurt from not having pumped, and she was left with only one alternative. She said, by the first day, I said to my husband, Josh, I need you to help me out. And that's what he did. She says, quote, I'm here to tell you I had to breastfeed my husband.
Oh.
In response to the clip, which has now received over 14,000 likes, probably a lot more since I reported this, many people flooded the comments in shock at the story they had just listened to. And I'm here to tell you, as the father of 3, I will say that's probably not the first time that type of thing has happened.
You're probably
I bet it's
right.
happened before. The level of distress that a woman who is breastfeeding goes through, you know.
I'm in. I'll help. It just depends on the octane. Is it 93 or 87?
It was whole milk. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yes, that's it. You have anything to add, Skippy?
I can't really relate because we didn't breastfeed. Well, they wouldn't latch on to. They did latch on to me. And
your breasts?
Yes, but I couldn't produce.
It's just I just wanted that story, that kicker to lay there for you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all.
Mike, you know what? That husband doing that was inevitable.
Right. Yeah.
I think it depends on your and I'm just, all jokes aside, how eager are you to help?
Oh, I wouldn't be.
No,
I would. I mean, I come from a medical family.
No,
okay.
I would have.
Yeah.
You can't tell me there's not a breast pump on the island somewhere. You can find one.
Go to the drugstore or something like that, you know?
I bet the husband suggested it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey,
if
you
I
need
could
some
use
help?
like
Yeah.
a cigarette holder or something like that, that's it.
A
I don't know
plunger?
why I said that. I don't know.
Gloria Swanson.
Yes. That's it. Sorry. We're running late. Shocker.
No,
we have
right
to
on
take a break.
time, baby.
When we come back,
Couldn't you just siphon it out like gasoline with a little plastic tube?
Bendy straw.
Invidious eating when we come back on the show.
Michael Mara, New Orleans, Sharon Bailey, Angeline, Jim Amato, Dennis Murphy, Paulie, Christine, Oscar, Shannon, Pony, Carrie, Dan O'Brien, Shirts so scary. Get your tickets while you can. Say hello to Tony Lamb, Goose Cerrito, Skinny Rob, Chris Fontani, Condo Bob, Carla, Twitch, and Dirk and Reese, and 1,000 Stephanie.
Come out and see the whole gang at the TMOS Live Show, April 15th, 2023 at the House of Blues in New Orleans, Louisiana. For tickets, go to MikeOMaraShow.com. We'll see you there.
10 tickets left. We have 10 tickets left for that show.
10 parakeets.
There's no better way to maximize your day than by making sure you're feeling like your best self. Liquid IV is the category-winning brand. Look at this Liquid IV that I've already killed.
Look at that.
Yes. Can you see
You
that
murdered
liquid
it.
in there? They teach you that here.
Murder.
Liquid IV, the category-winning hydration brand, fueling your well-being, and their hydration multiplier just may be the one product you're missing in your daily routine. In just one shtick, you get 5 essential vitamins and 2 times faster hydration than water alone. Use it first thing in the morning. You use it before a workout, when you feel run down after a long night out, long flights. Liquid IV is made with premium ingredients, and it is non-GMO. It is free from gluten. It is free from dairy and soy. Plus, Liquid IV has changed the world. They have donated over 25 million servings in over 50 countries around the world. They're on a mission to change things. Plus, it's convenient and oh so delicious. The best way to start your day. Be like me, drink Liquid IV. I just wrote a jingle. Hey! Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code TMOS at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code TMOS at liquidiv.com. Now, we've got 2 more segments before Soundtown, correct?
By my count, yes.
We've got this segment and then another one, so I can talk about Oscar's experience with the SWAT team in the last segment, right?
Yes.
I don't want to miss that.
No.
But Rob has wanted to talk about something called invidious comparison eating.
Now, I had to look up the word invidious. Do you know what it means?
It is a Greek philosopher who specialized in helping women who were engorged with breast milk.
I thought
that's the third definition.
I thought it was a graphics card or a chip maker.
Invidious is an adjective, and it is
it's a watch line. Oh, that's Invictus.
Yes.
That you can eat.
My mom's favorite.
Invidious.
Just boxes and boxes from Home Shopping.
An adjective. It's of an action or situation likely to arouse or incur resentment or anger in others. So it's angering. This is an angering comparison eating. And Mike,
is that like food envy?
Well, not really. And it's something that I think I'm guilty of, and I think you probably at least have had the thought. They call it I.C.E. I.C.E.
Ice, baby.
And it's sort of trending on the socials right now. And it's when you eat something that someone else has cooked and you taste it and you say, this is good. But when I make it, I do this. And it's like
a one-upping.
Yeah, an absolute one-upping. And it's so...
Oh, it's horrible.
It's such an easy thing to do, though, because I think a lot of anytime something tastes foreign to you, something different.
Do you vocalize it?
That's what they're saying ice is, yeah.
Have you experienced it yourself?
I have.
Because you had a supper club.
Yes.
Yeah. All you guys would do is eat.
You know what I do? I put a little nutmeg in it right now.
Fresh dill is what we use. You know, it's
but
like.
Do you? I don't. If someone. The only time I ever compare meals, because I don't cook, is when I go out to a restaurant and you can tell like what your mom used to make or someone you love used to make, where there was a great cook.
I'll give you a great example.
Please.
Marinara sauce.
Oh, very individual.
Hearty marinara from Domino's or homemade?
No, homemade marinara. Like if you have tomato, the gravy on your pasta, there are a million different people that make it differently.
A million different ways.
That's a big one, but I don't know. I mean, this is much blander than I ever in a million years thought it would be. I thought it was like eating someone else's food or something.
No, but do you feel sometimes when you're eating someone's food that it's hard to stifle your thought that how they could make it better? Because I constantly do that, and it is really a nasty passive aggressive thing to do.
But you're a foodie.
Yeah, but
if you're a foodie, you have. I think you have that pass. Just like if you are a
I keep
gamer,
it to myself,
or but if you're a programmer and you're looking at other people's, or you're a designer, you know what you would have done better.
Well, how about this?
For podcasts? Sometimes I listen to podcasts. I'm like, would have changed that. Would have changed that. But I'm not going to say that to the person that created the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Carrie has a lot of great things about her, and she's not a very good cook, sadly. And so a lot of
what
times,
a horrible thing to say, especially around Valentine's.
Shannon is
she
terrible
knows this.
cook.
She knows this.
Horrible.
And I mean, I'll taste her food sometimes, and I'll go in and I'll reseason it for her because I know that I can make it better.
Yeah, but that salt and pepper's not a big deal.
Not salt and pepper. Sometimes it needs something a little more.
Reseason it. Why don't you reseason at the table? That's what salt and pepper's for.
Yeah, but it's sometimes more than salt and pepper.
Like what?
Like, give us an example.
Triage.
Okay, like it might need more garlic powder, might need more heat, might need some chili powder, something like that.
Do you pass by the stove, taste what's simmering or what's cooking, and then you, without her knowing, fix it?
Oh, no, I don't. I'm not silent about it. I fix it.
You tell her how she ruined it and how you're fixing it.
I say, Carrie, I don't say it's ruined. It's still
and she accepts your criticism?
Of course, yeah. But that's okay, I think.
Why do you say it like that? Of course she does.
Well, because
like you're
we've been married.
All power.
No, because we've been married 26 years, and she's used to me being that way.
Okay, all right. I would imagine it annoys her probably.
Maybe, but you know what? When all is said and done, her food tastes better.
Yeah, but see, Carrie sounds like Carla. Carla and Carrie sound like they are very open-minded when it comes to cooking. I am. I'm like, can this use, when we're in the kitchen together, we'll say, what does it need? What does it need? That type of thing.
Right.
And we're very open about it. Especially the big meals.
But you seem sweeter about it. He's being hostile and passive aggressive.
I'm not being hostile at all.
He's a little hot. You're a little arrogant about it. You're a little tiny,
You're a diva in the kitchen.
Well, like you've already said your wife's a bad cook. You've actually come out and said that.
I said she's not a great cook. Did I say she was bad?
What is that passivity? What is that?
There are certain things
she's
she can
not
make.
A great cook.
She makes some things fine.
Like what? Fine is about as meek a praise as you can give her. What is something she makes that's fine?
She's good at grilling meat outside. She can do that. If I'm not available to do that, she'll do. She's not good at chicken. Chicken invariably is dry, just dried chicken all the time.
I don't like dry.
Yeah, and that's.
I don't like dry poultry.
Yeah, that happens.
By the way, Carla's family, I am mocked, and my father. I got this from my father.
What's that?
My father was mocked for cooking chicken on the grill and not cooking it thoroughly enough.
Oh, it's bad.
Well, my dad.
A little pink never hurt.
My dad didn't want dry poultry,
right.
And I agree. I don't think there's anything worse. I find it almost inedible when you get like a chicken breast that's been overcooked, and I mean a real one, the one with the skin and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's ludicrous.
It is.
I mean, the meat was cooked 50 minutes before you took it out of the stove, and you get it, and I literally choked to death on it. And you can overcook everything. Yeah. And Carla's family has this school where things have to be, you have to empty the whole clip into the chicken breast to make it, edible. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Did you watch the sketch on Saturday Night Live yet about the over extra well done steak?
Yes. Yeah. And she's shaking the whole table, and they all crack up.
It was great.
Yeah, that's it. Look, that cast has potential, but I don't know. But anyway,
Carrie can bake. Carrie can bake. She's probably a better baker than I am.
We'll see. If you can bake, you can cook.
You
can't cook if you can bake.
An air fryer solved all of this.
You can't bake if you can cook. You can cook if you can bake. That's what I've always heard.
Yeah, well, she's a better baker than she is a cook.
Okay.
I don't think she can. And you know what? It leans over to the fact, how is Carla at ordering in a restaurant?
She's good.
Carrie is not good.
Are you talking about like too much time?
No, like choosing something that is obviously not the right choice for her and then saying, I'm not so happy with this.
Oh, okay. Oh, no. She's Carla's does like a fairly decent job.
For our anniversary, this is a good example, though, about, it was a year and a half ago. We were at the Palm, and you get a steak at the Palm, right?
Yeah, or a lobster.
Yeah, and Carrie says, you know what looks good is that sea bass. I said, don't get the sea bass.
No?
Get some meat.
But a Chilean sea bass, I mean, that is phenomenal.
Yeah, it can be if you're at a place that specializes perhaps in Chilean sea bass, but they don't specialize.
Who specializes in sea bass anywhere?
A seafood restaurant.
I mean, come on.
But I'm kind of with Rob on this one, Oscar. I think that if you're in a steakhouse, which is what the Palm is, getting the sea bass is on that menu for one reason, for people who don't like your primary cuisine.
Yes.
That's what it's for. Yeah. It's for the people that don't like steak.
Maybe they're on a diet.
Well, that's
then get the fillet, the petite fillet.
All right. No,
they have the filet Oscar where they put the lobster on top.
Yeah,
that's phenomenal.
Sometimes some cream sauce with it.
I think when you're at a restaurant and someone at the table, who will go nameless, uses the ordering process as their own version of some sort of interrogation of the waiter. Where questions are hurled that are obvious, and questions are hurled that the waiter will not have. Waiter or waitress.
Have you ever been with someone that, let's say you're at a table for 8, and they're going around the circle, and it gets to the particular person, and they say,
"Yes,
well, let's see."
Yeah.
It's like
absolute rudeness of you got 8 people there
that are starving.
Get your ass in here.
Yeah, and it's not tough. Guarantee you thought about what you were going to order on the way to the restaurant.
It requires prepreration.
It does. It does.
Or this bit.
Right.
I'll just have this little salad, and then I order. I'll have the New York strip and some French fries and just because I'm a child and some greens, whatever. And I said, "Man, I was like, you're not hungry?" She goes, "I'm just gonna have some of yours."
Oh,
without fail.
Oh
no!
Now the cheap chip in me says, "Well, you save me some money." But the last 4 trips has been, "Can we have another plate? We're sharing."
If I have people over for dinner, and someone says to me,
"Yes,
I like to make it with a little more," I will say, "Well, why don't we go to your house next time?" Because that's an a-hole move.
Yeah,
outstanding way to handle
next year you host and you do it that way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's
in New York they charge you to share.
Really?
Yeah. If you go to
by the way, but that is the reason why when the Omeras have any kind of dinner party at all, we cater from Iguana Mia. Yeah. We do. I swear to God.
Yeah, but I want all of the New York strip.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I make it, I put less listeria in it.
When you share your New York strip with your beautiful bride, do you cut it in half or do you give her a quarter?
I cut it in half. Even Steven.
Do you cut it up for her? Pieces?
Put it in a blender. You can eat. We'll be right back.
Tracking down watch experts and keeping your clothes clean. It's all part of the latest bonus show.
Hi, I'm pissed. There's some joy in a large t-shirt, Mike. It's a reminder that you've lost weight.
Yeah, I'm in my sweats. It's the bonus show. I dressed down a little bit.
You have a sickness for the thickness.
Well, I am hostile.
He us.
Talking to you is like talking to the Riddler sometimes.
You're a mess. You quit it.
How often do you wash it?
Oscar is an
If I can weigh in, I don't love either one of you.
The TMOS bonus show is a perfect way to pass some time. With a complete library of past shows to choose from, you'll be laughing for weeks on end. Get your subscription today at MikeOmaraShow.com.
It's not twerking if you look like you're being tased. Folks, I'm showing you this. You can't see it. It's a little graph. I live with my Noom weight loss graph. Yeah. And I went out on Friday to the football game and enjoyed something that a man in my health condition should never have, I believe. Now, I've learned this. Margarita. And somebody, another Beatties guy online said that's about the worst drink you can have. He's probably right. So I spiked up. And then on my little Noom weight chart, I checked off a box where I was finally down after 2 days of working off that margarita.
Right.
And I'm with it every day. I love Noom. Whatever your reason is for wanting to make a change, Noom Weight is ready to help. Noom Weight is different. It uses psychology to help you understand how to make healthier choices. Healthier choices like understanding that you are going to have a blip once in a while, and you just hop right back on. Noom Weight really cemented that with all of their material that they share with me. They can help you change your habits for good. Losing weight starts with your brain, and Noom Weight's approach is based on scientific principles that help you better understand your relationship with food. To date, Noom Weight has helped more than 4.6 million people lose weight. And active first-time Noomers lose an average of 15 pounds in 16 weeks. 95% of customers say Noom Weight is a good long-term solution, which it is. I love it. Oscar loves it. Carla loves it. You got to stay focused on what's important to you with Noom Weight's psychology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com/TMOS. That's NOOM.com/TMOS to sign up for your trial today and check out Noom's first ever book. It's called The Noom Mindset, a deep dive into the psychology of behavior change, available now wherever books are sold. So another adventure in the Santana neighborhood.
Yes.
When you come in here and you talk about your neighbors, I expect to hear this kind of story. 3 SUVs with police escort showed up and an ambassador got out. This happened. Or, a guy drove down with a Bugatti. It was the most amazing thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't expect you to say the SWAT team.
Somebody
got a SWAT team outside of their house.
Mike, it's time to wonder what it must be like to strap on a gun and pin on a badge.
Hey, lawman,
and become a lawman.
The fun part is I have this on camera, which is always fun, and I'll send it to you guys afterwards. I just don't have my phone on me right now.
Right.
I have the fun. I guess I have a gift that I can't. I'm a light sleeper. And
is that a gift or a curse?
It's a gift because it'll keep you alive and it'll keep you aware of your surroundings.
When the break-in happens.
Yeah, my wife has her own gift where she doesn't hear anything. When she's in bed, it would take frankly a siren to wake her up. So I thought, because this morning at 4:48 a.m. I've been up since then. By the way,
that's early.
I hear whoop, 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 whoop.
Oh, the little interactive siren. I love that. Yeah.
And then I see what is a light shine through my shutters, like something's going on. So like any other nosy Nelly, I get up and I peer through the blinds like Rob's neighbor, but through the blinds, not the screen.
Kravitz,
yeah, Mrs. Kravitz.
Right.
And I see 4 officers running up to what I thought was my house, and it was getting broken into because all these houses in Georgetown, historic Georgetown, are so close to each other.
Yeah, the front doors are 10 feet apart.
Yes.
Are they dressed in any kind of tactical gear at all?
It's the first wave was police officers. The second wave was tactical gear.
Ooh,
so
deal.
The third wave, Mike, was dancers.
The third act. And I found out this morning that Santos also is gifted with our dog, our pod dog, our Labradoodle is gifted with the same gift that my wife has, which is
he barking?
He gives 0 Fs. He's like, what is that? Papa's
that's so funny. A dog should be really at the
Winslow's not. Winslow will let you know what's going on.
Yeah, Linus too.
Always.
He'll save your lives. My dog will have me save his.
Right.
So he looked at me like I was annoying him because I was like up and stirring.
Yeah, it's not scheduled, Dad.
And I realized at that point that I have a camera, the ring of security outside my house. So I don't have to like put my ear to the window and hear what's happening. I could watch in real time as this is unfolding.
Yeah, you got a camera on.
Yes, I got a camera outside and I can hear him and watch him, which is fantastic.
So you access it on your phone?
I throw on my AirPods and I access it on my phone and I'm watching a movie outside my door. For like 2 feet outside my door because I went downstairs.
Actually, that's pretty cool for a man whose life is filled with gadgets.
Is this next door?
Right next door, yes.
Right next door. Wow. The big house.
The big houses. And I know the family, so I'm worried about them. I don't know what's good. They have a ring of security as well, so I'm sure everything's good. And I know they're in town because I saw them the night before.
And they're cooking meth.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
It's blue.
It was at first scary. Because you're like, something's up. And because what you don't want to hear is single male, identity unknown, ski mask. Like that's what you're hearing, like blurps of through the security camera.
You're hearing about a perp.
A perp or a pervert. Who knows?
Perpvert.
And you also don't want to see, and I don't know what the SOP is for police officers to roll up without their sirens, but all these cars start pulling in with just their lights on, right?
Well, it's after the fact of the initial siren, though, so that's okay.
But all I heard was boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. And then and then you see 4 or 5 cars rolling up and down the street in the alley like they're looking for somebody with their lights.
Searchlights.
Yes.
So it sounds to me like somebody from the house maybe saw somebody outside
I think,
with a ski mat.
But I can't really tell because even with the ring of security, when you have 5 people talking, it's hard to figure out what's going on at 4:53 in the morning.
Do you have camera evidence that might be from
Mike, we're on the same page because I'm looking for the cat burglar or what was going on beforehand as they're talking, so I can out the mail slot give him my phone, be like, "This is what happened, officer," because I'm too much of a pussy to walk outside in the middle of all that. So
here, I'm going to hand this to you through the door,
through the mail slot.
Did you check it?
I checked it. I saw nothing.
And Mike, after he hands it through the mail slot, he'd have to put his thumb out the mail slot so they could open it.
At this point. A full 2 SUVs show up with tactical gear.
Oh, hut.
And guns drawn. And I was like...
That's usually somebody inside the house.
Well, Mike, you've seen too many of these because I still don't know what's going on. I'm still just watching my little camera
That's what
phone.
I would think. If there are people showing up in tactical gear,
correct.
There's something to be tactical about.
Correct. So now at this point, you start hearing, there's a man. Because I guess they were looking at my neighbor through the window. There's a man approaching the door, and they're like yelling, like get down or something's gonna happen. Like who the f is gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And then what? So and then they're like, sir, and then like stand where you are. Like so, they start yelling at full blast, and
That's
you can hear this through the camera.
Perhaps the homeowner.
The homeowner.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh man, I hope everything's okay. And they finally make contact with my neighbor. This is like 5:20 in the morning, and you hear, and what I made out was my son was playing video games, something like that. He was playing a video game. I guess he was up early, like in his room, hiding of it, playing video games because the kid's like in high school age,
perfectly
whatever.
Understandable.
And somebody swatted him.
And we've talked about this in the past.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh no.
Which happens when,
and for those of you that might be living under a rock or maybe have pleasant lives that nothing disturbs them or they don't watch the news. Swatting is when somebody calls the police. This is common in the video game or streamer world,
Reed
Twitch
was
world.
just talking about the congressman that had it.
Correct.
Yes,
correct.
exactly.
And if you're mad at somebody or you're jealous at somebody, you hate somebody. You will find a way to call the police and say that there's a hostage situation happening in a home.
How old do you know? Do you by eyeballing it and seeing the family occasionally? Do you know how old the son might be?
Yeah, the kid's like probably a freshman in high school for all I know.
Okay. So he's old enough to maybe get into it with
playing online, right?
It's horrible.
And then the father is the family's just a 10 out of 10. They're great, and I can't confirm 100% that this was a video game situation, but I heard PS5. All the buzzwords that make this sense.
Kind of would make sense, right?
Pieces together, yeah.
And then
did they go away? Did they go away almost as quickly as they arrived?
They eased up. They were fine, but by that time it's 5:40. I'm wired. I know Starbucks opens in
You're excited.
In 20 minutes. I'm like, well,
you love to be in the middle.
I said,
of the
this
fray.
is the day. So I walked down to Starbucks, which is 400 feet from my house. I'm blessed. Thank you. And they're just opening up.
God provides for those.
It's right there. It's right there. And I've never been there.
They got hot rolls. I'm sorry, I turned it into a scene as good as it gets.
I've never been when they're actually unlatching the door.
That's got to be. I would imagine if I'm a Starbucks employee, that's gonna piss me off.
Yeah, you don't want to see him.
Mike, I felt
You'll be
like
the cook and master and commander. It will be ready when it's ready.
I felt like I was like, this is what successful people do.
Were you in your PJs?
Yes, of course. And sneakers and a jacket and a hat.
The successful people.
The successful people. There were 8 people behind me in business attire. I felt like the odd man out.
Wow.
And they're
Type A's going to get it. Going to slay that dragon.
They were getting it done. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, so this is the first time I'm actually enjoying breakfast, people watching on like who in this ungodly hour gets up and does this for a living every single time.
At this particular time?
I'm wearing plaid pajama pants, running sneakers, a cap's like puffy cap, right? Like a full cap. I've got a big like trench coat winter jacket on, my flannel pajamas tops that match, and I'm sitting there sipping my coffee. I got Shannon something, but she was still sleeping.
Well, if you walked out of your house a little earlier with that outfit, you would have been put in the paddy wagon.
I agree. I agree. But the first time I saw this in real time and to have camera evidence of it,
fun,
surreal.
I saved 2 lives today. Can I have a chocolate croissant, please?
Yes.
Right. Well, if you bump into Otto next door, the son, maybe you could ask him what happened, right? With that. We'll take a break, and it's the Town of Sound coming up right here on the Mike O'Mara Show. I picked myself up a little soy milk latte and my wife a cafe grande.
Yeah.
Starbucks. I hear through the speaker that it's the sing-songy guy.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day. My name's Trent. Welcome to Starbucks. What can I do you for, big guy?
Well, I think I'll have a venti soy milk latte.
Awesome. Can I get you a cake pop?
Would you like a cake pop?
How about I tell you about my favorite podcast?
Tell your friends, wake the kids, and phone the neighbors. Let them all know about your favorite podcast, The Mike O'Mara Show. It's TMOS's new listener initiative for 2023. Join the party. The more, the merrier.
Let your Trent flag fly, and that's fine.
Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. It seems like this is the time of the year that everyone is trying to reinvent themselves for the better. But if you really want to put the new you to the test, Harry's can help. Whether you want to try a new artsy style with your mustache or finally try the sexy bald head look, Harry's, look at that. That's
nice.
what I call sexy.
Hot.
Harry's has the tools for your closest, cleanest shave ever. We all use Harry's. God, I love it. We all love them. I have all the good things and stuff. Right now, the Truman Shave Trial Set is a $15 value. It's just $3 at harrys.com/TMOS. That will get you a 5-blade German-engineered razor, a weighted handle, foaming shave gel, just the best, and a travel cover. Harry's blades are made in their own factory in Germany, and they hold up better than ever. Guys who tried them say their 8th shave is as sharp as the first, and I'm here to tell you personally that is absolutely true. I would go even further than that.
I would too.
My 15th shave, my 20th shave, just as good as the first. And Harry's is still offering a no-risk trial. Don't like your shave? No worries on them. That easy. No matter how your new you is going to look sharp all year long with Harry's. Get a $15 Truman Shave Trial Set for $3 at harrys.com/TMOS. That's harrys.com/TMOS for a $3 trial set. And do me a favor, do it!
Sound.
We call this stereophonic sound.
Soundtown.
You mentioned him earlier today, Mike. Matthew McConaughey. Now, I'm still stinging a little bit from the cartoon that premiered on one of the streamers called Velma, which was based on Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
It was maybe the worst thing I've ever seen, and I had high
And you're a
hopes for it.
fan, right? You like that Archie stuff.
I love Scooby-Doo. I love Mindy Kaling, and it didn't land. However, I'm ready to give animation on Netflix another try because coming in March, Matthew McConaughey is Agent Elvis.
Every once in a while, man accomplishes the impossible. All it takes is someone with a dream. Because when a man dreams, he can change the world. Scatter's gonna pull that trigger.
God damn it, Scatter. I was gonna say if he didn't talk.
I love the notion of it.
You can't not like the guy.
I know.
In whatever he does, it's hard not to like. I was getting ready. Oh, come on. What are you doing with anime? And then you listen to his dialogue, and he's giving it his all.
I was looking at the trailer this morning, and Carrie comes downstairs, and all she sees is Agent Elvis. And she says, the voice is horrible. I said, it's Matthew McConaughey. She says, oh, that'll be good. I mean, that's all it takes.
Is this a known entity reboot? I don't even know.
It's a brand new thing where Elvis is a secret agent, and actually the animation looks really cool, and it's going to be fun. I think. I hope it's fun.
I just don't like adult animation. Just by its very nature.
Well,
I mean,
you
after
say
The
that.
Simpsons, I mean, I watched The Simpsons with my kid. I lasted like a week. It just bores me.
Well, The Simpsons sucks nowadays. But you threw me onto this new Looney Tunes stuff, and that writes at an adult level, I think.
Yeah, that writes to and that
as all the Warner Brothers stuff did. Really,
I get it. If you're in the right mindset for it, I don't know. I think I'm far too depressed.
No, maybe Mike. This might cure you. Agent Elvis coming in March. Also in March, not that it matters, but Hulu is putting the Mel Brooks movie History of the World Part 2 out, and I like what I see on the previews.
It's a shame
of that.
I don't have a subscription anymore.
You might get a 1 month free preview just to watch that. Yeah,
not for History of the World.
No. Handmaid's Tale.
He won't do it.
Hulu.
Negative.
You got to offer me more than one series. You got to Netflix me if I'm going to.
I guess you're right.
T-Mobile. Thank you for the lifetime subscription to Netflix.
Oh, look at you. Did you cancel your old one?
With or without commercials?
Didn't cancel the old one. Haven't finalized the deal yet. Oscar, but I plan to today. Thank you.
You ever have your wife ask you, "Oh, there's a bug here," or "Can you kill this spider?" or something like that? Yeah,
all the time.
This lady asked her husband to get the snake out of the washing machine.
Is this Australia?
No, it's America, and it wasn't.
It's always in Australia when
I know.
Those
well,
killer snakes.
Mike, it wasn't a snake.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That is a snake. That is. No, don't touch it! Don't touch it. Is it?
It's underwear.
It was her underwear.
I love the sound of the. It's underwear.
It's underwear. Yeah, but it did have sort of a snake-like print.
Must be some big old panties.
I don't know why it rattled. That's the thing.
Granny panties. Big old round up, twisted up granny panties. Yeah.
A copperhead.
Big stained granny panties.
No, it was after the wash cycle. I think it's okay.
There you go. Look at these.
You know, you don't have to be stupid just because you're America. There are stupid people everywhere.
True.
And if you go to Canada, which I'm no fan of, they had a council meeting, and a guy was talking about climate change. He says,
I feel as though I need to counter you when you say that. I'm a huge fan of my Canadian brothers and sisters.
All right, well, this one Canadian fellow says climate change is no big deal. And to prove it, while he was addressing the council, he ate a chili pepper.
I brought a chili pepper, and I was going to eat it and show that even if something does heat up a little bit, it's not the end of the world. But in this issue specifically, I've noticed that many people are not giving the due to the oil field.
He looks miserable.
The pepper's heating up a little bit, but it's not a big issue. I wanted to demonstrate that because a lot of people say that if Canada was to heat up, it would be the end of the world. But South America is way warmer than Canada. And people vacation there all the time.
See? You can be stupid anywhere.
He's really being legitimate, isn't he?
He really is. He means it. That's what's sad.
I hate when people eat on Mike.
I know, and they really mic'd it well. I will give Canada credit. They mic'd that well.
Right. Very nice, Canada. Thank you.
And let's close with this, Mike. After Oscar's introduction, I have bailed on The Bachelor. I'm no longer watching The Bachelor.
How dare you?
But I did notice one thing last night is, hello. Christina from Nashville did not get a rose. And she didn't like that. But that doesn't make it impossible for her to use the word like. And for the host to use the word like, and for the Bachelor to use the word like.
Like I'm able to be just outgoing, and like a lot of people are taking that like me wanting to be the center of attention because like I'm at your family, but and it's
time
it's silly, like it would be a real bummer.
Like where it is hard for me.
You don't have to kill it. I'm just blowing them up for general. You play it again. This makes me my flesh crawl.
Mike, you don't like it? It's funny. It's good.
I'm able to be just outgoing, and like a lot of people are taking that like me wanting to be the center of attention because like I'm at your family, but and it's
time
it's silly, like it would be a real bummer.
Like where it is hard for me, it's like I'm worried.
But like
this has all been thrust upon me.
I've went through so much to be here, but for that to be is
he just doesn't feel like he can continue on with a pool party at this point.
But
Mike, she's like getting on a plane. That's all I got.
Oh my God. Hey, we want to thank our good friend, Mr. Reed Galen from the Lincoln Project. Always check him out at LincolnProject.com, or is it .org?
.us.
I didn't get my little shit.
.us.
What?
It's LincolnProject.us.
I'm so glad you're here to let me know that when I screw up. But Reed, wonderful job. Thank you very much. And we'll be back with a brand new episode tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. 5 tickets left for New Orleans. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, we have 5 tickets.
Get on it.
4, I think.
So you might want to. Now it's 4. You're right. I just watched it turn, just like the telethon. So grab your tickets now. Yeah. Oh my God. We'll be back tomorrow for Rob Spiewak and Oscar Santana. Mike O'Mara saying so long, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Want more? Make sure you check out the Mike O'Mara Bonus Show. Get it at MikeO'MaraShow.com.
Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.